I engineer Tesla motors as well. These projects lead to professional experience that can launch you from there. And in these kinds of jobs, we've always found that as I've come and I've worked here for nearly 5 years at SpaceX, looking and recruiting for candidates, we find that the best candidates come from projects like the solar car. And it's not just if you're an engineer. If you are a business student, we have a business division for our team. If you're a person that's a writer, when you devote yourself to some kind of student project or some kind of work that is beyond your classroom, if you're a writer and you wrote a book, and you want to get published, if you're a publisher, getting yourself engaged and involved outside of the classroom, getting the opportunity to fail early in school is what matters. Because what it does is it puts you years ahead of all of your peers. I know that rhymes, and it's kind of cheesy a little bit there, but it's true. Because you are in the opportunity right now to try and fail and figure out how to succeed, make sure you're going to succeed better in the future. It's important to recognize that when you start the job in your first career, you're not going to be expected to know everything that you're going to have to do on day one. Somebody's going to walk up to you and hand you a problem, and they're going to say, hey, I want you to get this thing done. Come back to me when you have any questions. But you have a deadline and a goal and a schedule to meet and a budget to hold it to, and you have some resources around you. Now, the thing that we have noticed as well as we hire people that go through projects like a solar car or Formula or other student project teams or these teams in Global Triple that we just saw recently, they built a set of leadership skills that enables you to start your day, and the first day on the job, much more successfully than somebody that never had the experience to be a member of the team. You can't learn leadership by reading a book. You have to do it. You can't get these experiences by going to class. You have to build it, whatever that may be. So that's what you have to find. And we've given you a little bit of prescription that got us to where we got in our lives, but the important thing here is not to necessarily follow our prescription, but to find what your story is and what your passion is. We all like engineering cool things. We all like designing and building cool things. Whatever that is for you, that's what you have to do, because you're going to do so much better in that task if you're following your passion, whatever that passion may be. So, as you saw from the beginning to the end here, we were part of a really awesome project, a really awesome team at Michigan, and that set ourselves up today to be able to come here, share our experiences with you, and hopefully you guys can follow in our footsteps in the future and join some of these teams, start your own teams, and really build the same kind of experience that you need so that you'll get in the door when you go on your job interview on day one and they say, why should we hire you? You can say, oh, because you know what? I don't just have a good GPA or whatever. I also do this other thing. You want me to go build an automotive car? Well, I built a car in school, so I already know how these cars are going to go out. And so that's what we encourage a lot here, is find that passion, get that experience, and you will be years ahead of your peers, as it says here. And with that, any questions that the rest of us can answer here? Thank you very much for watching. Oh yes, we show this photo. So this is the Abu Dhabi Solar Challenge. Obviously in the middle there you can see the president of Egypt. But we won the Abu Dhabi Solar Challenge. Jeff was actually one of the members of the School of American Town itself. But we were very fortunate to have the opportunity to
Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay, questions? 1, 2 lines, please.
If I need to establish a new team on solar car or former student, what should I focus on to choose مثلا to choose between skill like technical skills or communication skills? What should I focus on person I choose him and my team?
What can he focus on when he's building a team for such a project or a project on the same scale?
I think the slide here. Vision, step one, is the absolute most important part of the project. If you want people to sign up for something, you need to show them what they're signing up for. And you will attract what you put out there. So you need to show people something that they can subscribe to. So the way Michigan starts teams, to start projects, is in a room exactly like this, precisely like this. We'll have a presentation where we show our vision for the project, what we're trying to accomplish, how we divide up our team. And we'll have 10 or 20 presentations just like this, all over campus. A lot of people here will have other homework to do and they'll go. But maybe you'll have 10 or 15 people that stick around after the fact. That's the nucleus of your team. That's where it starts. You do this enough, you start to get a pretty good pool of candidates, maybe even hundreds of people. And that'll continue to boil down until you have 20 core team members. But it has to start with the vision. Something that you can articulate well enough for people to subscribe to, because they're investing in using it. Once you have that, everything else will follow.
Next question.
Okay, hi. Can you tell me more about the common between from a student car and solar car, and if there are rules, specific rules for the car solar, like weight or structure? What are they? Thank you.
Sure. So the question is more about the rules and structure of the solar car race. So the goals of the solar car race are really to foster innovation and allow engineering teams to have creativity across the world to really pursue taking something relatively simple and making it faster and better, primarily to use slightly different technologies over the years. For instance, in the past, they gave regulations that said what size the car had to be. It said there are a lot of regulations on the race itself. However, for the car, it didn't just say what size it needed to be, it said how the driver needed to be configured. So in the past, the driver could lay down. Now, all the regulations require the driver to sit at a very specific angle, a minimum of that angle, so that they're seated up. The regulations also include things that say they need to have a steering wheel. They need to have potentially, set in different races if they use a brake pedal or not. They also specify what it means to be road ready, so having mirrors, having lights, having hazard lights, as well as turn signals. It also tells you how big the battery pack can be and how large the solar cells can be, the area of it. So it basically confines you to a small box that allows for all the teams to have an even playing field, and then you can innovate within that space.
Thank you.
Here we have another question.
Hello, I'm Omar Ashraf from the Human Medical University. I'd like to ask you, is it hard to get a sponsor for your project? And how much did it cost you?
Getting sponsors is extremely difficult. So, for example, so Michigan Solar Car will end up having hundreds of sponsors. And project budgets, the total value of goods that we'll collect for a project will end up exceeding $1 million. Now, about 85% of that isn't in the form of cash. It's gifts of goods. So they might be giving us aluminum, or they'll be giving us wheels, or tires, or machining services. Only a small portion of our overall budget is cash, and ironically, a good portion of that goes to gasoline for all of our escort vehicles. But also to fly the team over to Australia, it's a lot of airfare. Or shipping our solar car at 747. So it doesn't spend a month in a boat. That way only spends a day in the plane. Fundraising is extremely hard work. So you saw with the team structure, the team leader is separate from the engineering director. So I'm a mechanical engineering student, and I spent 2 years with the team. During that time, I didn't design anything. I was purely a team leader, and our main job was fundraising. So the way Michigan approaches this fundraising effort, engaging sponsors, is we have our own little Wikipedia, our own forum, where there's a thread for every sponsor we contact. Every time we contact a sponsor, we post that email or notes about the phone call. So we end up having over 1,000 company listings on there, most of which we never get a sponsorship from. So for example, in my 2 years on the team, I made 1,500 posts to that forum. Out of 100 companies that we contact, we might get 10 sponsorships. So it's extremely hard work. You have to call a lot of people, and it's never easy. And at first, it's extremely awkward and really, really stressful. Early on in my solar car career, this was absolutely terrifying, talking in front of this many people. But once you do it enough times, it becomes natural. Same thing for getting sponsors.
Next question.
Hi. What kind of difficulties did you face while working on such a project other than funding? And how did you overcome them?
The list is so long. In 2007, halfway through our project, they changed all the regulations. So we completely designed the car. So the frontal area, so the driver's sitting up